To go. All right. Work session for the Architectural Review Board is now underway, 5 o'clock. First project is 129 North Bompard. Any comments from board members on this one?
I'd just like to discuss the mix of window grills. It looks like we have a few different types, and some of the different types of grills will be visible in the same window. Looks like there's predominantly 3/1 on the house. And yeah, it looks like we've got I think 3 different styles on that little addition. We've got a 3/1, and then we've got those high triple windows that are 6s. Then the tall windows on either side of the rear door are 9/9s. So it seems like it's a bit mixed, and I'd just like to kind of walk through that and make sure that everybody understands how that's going to look, and maybe we can refine it to fewer types.
All right, any additional comments? All right. We can move on to 55 West Moody Avenue. These were the condos we saw last meeting. And I think the request was to add the notes for the materials to those section, which appear to have all been done. I personally didn't have any more additional questions or comments on this one myself.
I didn't have any other comments, Bob.
I think I expected this to be a little bit more developed for this meeting. They just added these notes, so I guess what we asked for and we got, so.
Yeah, and I do recall that there was a request for, there was 3 types of the siding product to add all 3 types that were under consideration, and I did not see that there. Yeah.
Well,
Composite veneer.
right.
Maybe they narrowed it down to 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And I think really that was the only request.
Yeah, I think so, if I recall.
All right, so if there's no additional comments, should we move this to pre-approval?
I'm fine with that.
Sure. Yeah, fine with me.
All right, next we have 1132 Pine Tree Lane porch.
Yeah, this one was tabled from last time. And the things that I had noted to discuss were the height of the new front porch from grade, and whether or not a guardrail would be needed, and what the style and material of that guardrail would be. And then also there's no material style or anything on those posts, and they look extremely thin.
Yeah.
So I think that could stand some more development. And then also about what the finish on the vertical face of the concrete wall at the front porch would be.
You guys, what do you think about the roof slope over that new porch? You think, to me, I'd like to see it a little increased from what it is now. I think it just looks kind of stuck on from the standpoint of the front elevation. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that's probably wise.
It just doesn't look quite,
Pretty flat.
yeah. And I agree too. I think there should, even if the code is such that we don't need the railing from a code standpoint, I think I think we need it from an architectural standpoint. I think it'd make the whole front look better. I just,
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't see any railings at the steps.
Yeah, they would
I-
need something there.
Yeah.
I wish we had better pictures of the existing. You can't really
Right,
tell much of what's going on there.
right.
Was the remainder of the house improvements not in our
Yeah,
review?
yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just the front porch.
Okay.
Just the porch.
Right.
Okay. Right, we can discuss that.
About,
Yes, I believe Tracy.
I,
Uh, 515 Lake Avenue porch. Comments from the board?
I like it.
I like it.
Well, I think that the shingle siding was a very fortunate find.
Yeah,
And I agree with extending that porch across the front, and the front facing stair gives it a better sense of entry. I do question the addition of those brackets. It just, to me, the geometry of this roof line is so strong with those deep overhangs, and it looks so substantial that sort of going back and applying those brackets, it seems like it's a bit of a distraction to me. And then also too, the pergola, I don't, I'm not really sure that that's quite in keeping with the style of the house. And I'd be interested to know if they considered doing, like, if you look on the last page, you can see that right around the corner from the new porch, there's a little projected bay that has a shed roof on it. And it just seems to me that that shed style roof across the front would be kind of help tie the design together. And maybe if they desired an open portion of that shed, that would be a way to kind of blend the existing style with maybe getting some openness. I just wondered if they'd be open to discussing those things.
well, I just wonder if they went this direction to get more light into those windows.
It could be, that's why I was discussing maybe having some partial openness.
Oh, at the
And
windows.
I think
yeah.
that's, this elevation faces south, I think.
Mhm.
So they should, have ample light there.
I like the columns, I like the handrail, I like all that, but the pergola part of it, kind of makes me think it should be on the back of the house.
That's the way I felt as well, Chuck. I mean, I think the handrails, the railing selection is great. I
Yeah.
think that really looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of, good things going for it, but yeah, I just like to kind of talk through that with them.
Yeah, let's just find out what's
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, anything else? All right, we can have Tracy come back.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Nothing, are these the right drawings for the next one?
Now,
All right, next on our list is 337 Dobbin Road.
Um,
Today.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about this submittal. I think it needs substantial work before we review it. There's not a site plan, there's no north arrow, but then everything is called out as north, south, east, and west, so it's hard to orient.
Are these even the correct drawings?
I know.
Yeah,
they're not the correct drawings. I live not too far from this house. I've walked by there before this meeting multiple times just to make sure that I know what I'm looking at. And this is not even,
Yeah, it's got a
Close.
Michigan address on it.
well,
But I went by there too, Chuck,
Did
and
you?
I took a look, I took a
kind
photograph.
of hard to see, isn't it?
And yeah, but I mean, really just the front elevation. The windows are the wrong style, they're
Right.
the wrong size.
Yes,
There's vertical siding on the front in two places. It's not shown. There's some really nice ashlar stonework that doesn't show
right.
up at
doesn't show
all.
up. Yeah.
There's, yeah, the garage door is the wrong size and the
Right.
wrong style. I
Right.
just, and you know, how can we tell how this front porch is going to look
Uh,
when it's so,
Yeah.
not right?
No,
Um, yeah, there's no grills shown on the front window. I mean,
No.
here's a photograph. I just took this.
right.
And there's also
That's it.
behind the tree that you can't see, there's
Yep.
a rather prominent chimney on the
Yep.
front that is not shown.
Right.
And, you know, they didn't even submit existing photographs with the
No.
submittal.
I think it's a very incomplete submittal.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be clarified in terms of the, what's on the cover sheet information and get that straightened out. So I would say if we postpone this and, have this be resubmitted.
Yes, and I also noticed that there's apparently, looks like there's windows on the side that aren't depicted correctly.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you just look at it and it's so off and incomplete, I feel like I don't have confidence in reviewing
No.
this at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think this is a spec, this is a spec home plans.
Yeah, and this is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Work
you know,
with
and it's really a shame because these drawings don't do justice to the house, which is a lot nicer looking in person than you would
Right.
believe from these drawings.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Right, so that will take care of the work sessions. We'll pause till 5:30. Ready to go?
Ready?
Everyone's good? All right, welcome everyone to the Architectural Review Board meeting. We have finished our work session, so the official meeting is underway. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Jim Bailey with the city. We have Jamie Hessmeyer, who's our council liaison, Carol Dunke and Tracy Collins, Chuck Yannicki, David Yates, and myself, Bob Buckman, all volunteer architects on the board. First item of business is review of meeting minutes from November 7th. And I think, David, you were the only one not here. So for the rest of us, may I have a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve the November 7th meeting minutes as written.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, November 7th meeting minutes are approved. Next, we have one pre-approval. So if you're present for that, once we read this, you're free to go. 55 West Moody Avenue. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 55 West Moody Avenue as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. 55 West Moody Avenue's approved. Thank you. And then the rest of the projects, if you're here in person or on Zoom, would ask you to come up to the microphone and we'll discuss your project. Or on Zoom to raise your Zoom hand and Yolanda will add you to the discussion. The first project is 129 North Bompart Avenue. Anyone present for that one? We have someone online as well.
Oh, that's mine.
Our architect, I think, was planning to join. I don't know if he's on or not.
Is it Joe?
No, Paul Turner.
Sorry, I raised my hand for a later project.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess with Paul not here, we can just go ahead and
Yeah,
discuss
let's go
your
ahead and
project.
talk and see if we,
Sure. I think Carol had some comments or questions.
You know, I generally, I think the form of it looks good. I like the siding choice. But we have a number of different window grill styles. It looks like the house is predominantly the 3 vertical grids in the top and then an open one in the bottom. We call that 3/1. And then in your addition, there's one window that's 3/1, and then we've got a smaller group of windows that is divided into 6 grills. And then the large double hungs on the back are 9/9s. So in that one room, when you're sitting on the inside, you're going to have all those different grill styles. And, I wondered if you had considered maybe limiting to like one grill style for that one room, since, you do have mostly the 3/1s. I think that would look fine. And on your smaller windows, the 3 that are grouped together, you could just eliminate the horizontal and then have the 3 verticals. So it would look like the top sash of, again, if you want, I know it's a little hard to follow that description. I can kind of scribble down what we're talking about so we can all be on the same page.
yeah, so looking at the 3 smaller windows, I'm not sure what the artifact is that makes it look like a 6x6, if that's actually a drawing issue or not. The intention is for that to be casement windows, like match the existing house. Yeah.
Yes.
So those, if you look at, say, I believe it's the west elevation,
Yeah.
the 3 windows that are already there, that dotted line across, I suspect represents a triple track storm that's on the outside, because those are actually three, not 3/1, but 3 vertical
Mhm.
pane casement windows. And we want to match those in the breakfast room because they're right next to each other.
Okay, so if I'm following correctly, this will be verticals like this, and there would not be the horizontal?
Yeah, there would no horizontal divider, 3 panes, not 6.
Okay, so these are intended to be threes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there is another line in there that's showing
So
a
that's
six.
I hadn't noticed that, but when you pointed it out, I saw
Got
it.
Yeah, so yeah, and you know, you wouldn't want to have your windows ordered and go, oh my goodness, and we can't send them back. So
Indeed.
then also on the rear here, I wondered if you would be open to, let me just kind of draw this so it'll be easier to follow. So those are double hungs on the rear then? Is
Yep.
that intended to be
Yep.
double hungs? So if you were to do like the three verticals on the top sash and then just have this bottom one be open, that would be the 3/1 style, like the rest of the rear elevation.
Yeah, we were trying to echo what's in the front of the house where there are French casement windows in the front. Now, we're not going with French casements. Those are, much older, but the large front windows
Uh-huh.
are panes over panes. I think those are either 6/6 and a pair of them. So that would end up working like 4 by 4, I think. I'd have to actually, the pictures I think that you guys have
Yeah.
might show the front.
Yeah, those are beautiful windows. I agree. For me, you're not looking at those at the same time. You're either looking at the front or you're looking at the back. So since you're not really seeing them at the same time and you'll be sitting in that room and not seeing your front windows, I think there's some considerations to be given there to having those all 3/1s in that one room and that you will see together from the same view.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine, in my head, I'm trying to imagine what it's going to look like because we've been thinking about wanting to have the door sort of match the windows and have that be a lot of glass, as you can notice, because that looks out into our back where we have a bunch of landscape gardening. That's an area we like to look at.
If you I can lean this over if you guys want to come around and take a look. I think this would actually give you more open glass. If you were to do that, do like 3 on top and an open one at the bottom, you would have less grill to obstruct your view, especially like if you're seated at a table or something. And then you would have your 3 open.
Yeah, that 3/1 and this is what a lot of the rest of the house is for sure.
And then see here all on your rear.
Yeah, that's the only thing about it is like these windows are not as wide as the others here. So kind of wondering what that would look like and then what it's gonna look like with the door. This is showing, not individual panes. And we've actually been having some discussion about would we make that match and be like a bunch of visual panes like the sides would be, so that you get a uniform look from that back view. If we were to do this, we were to do a door, I guess. I don't know if you would do a door that would have glass both bottom and top, and the bottom would be one big pane. I've certainly seen doors where you'd have solid and 3 above, but we're hoping to get like glass for the whole door,
Yeah.
so that this looks like a wall. That's sort of the intention.
Yeah, so, if this is like an open solid glass door and you're interested in the view, then to me, like having the 9/9s, that's a lot of grill like you see on there. Those are 6/6s. You would have actually another row. And, that would tend to obstruct your view a little bit more and it lets a little bit less light in. So those are just things for you to consider.
We'll certainly talk with our architect about that and about what options there would be for a door, because it sounds like aesthetically, if we're gonna go with something like this, then we probably want the door to really be truly all glass, because otherwise we're gonna get into an off arrangement above it.
Yeah, it looks like what you've got shown there is all glass. So I don't know if there was a different door style under consideration on that one.
There is, I don't know if it got notated on the plans. We've been still trying to finalize, how wide are these exactly within a couple of inches? And we landed on this thinking that this would be 9/9. And we had been talking just very recently since the plan that you had was submitted, would it maybe make more sense to switch to 9/9 on the door as well, so you get a more uniform look across the back? But it sounds like the other alternative is to do this and have 3/1,
Mhm.
and then just a completely open solid.
Yeah. You know, it sounds like you're still making decisions. So what we could do if everybody's amenable is if now that we've discussed some various ideas, we could maybe just table this if you wanted to finalize your decisions, because if we approve something, when they go out on inspection and when the construction documents come in, that's what the city staff will be expecting to find.
Gotcha.
So that's, so kind of need to refine those decisions.
So, could we finish talking about any other questions or ideas that everybody has tonight to make sure we have like full sense of what it might be?
Sure.
And then
Mhm.
maybe we'll huddle for a couple of minutes and decide, do we want to delay or are we comfortable with the suggestion?
Yeah.
I think I'm comfortable with that suggestion. I don't know if we had any other comments.
I don't-
besides
It
that.
was,
I really didn't have any other
I think
comments, no.
the grill styles and the mixture and what you actually want. And now it sounds like, you really haven't decided on a door style and stuff. So those are the items that you would want to refine. And then, submit what you think, okay, this is what we'd like to see.
Right.
Could we do a little sidebar for just a minute or two to talk and figure out if we're comfortable moving forward with exactly what you've suggested here, or if we want to resubmit here sometime soon?
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say
Well, the plans indicate a full height glass door,
right.
so I think that's,
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Carol's comment about that letting in a lot of light and, space that you can see out to the backyard and whatever. Seems to be in conflict with the 9/9 windows.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't,
Yeah, it's a
kind of
lot
fit.
Yeah.
And I don't agree. I think with going to a 9/9 on the door, I think that would defeat the whole purpose of what.
Yes, especially when you're looking at views and lights, to have 9/9s on both sides and then, an additional grill pattern that's
Right.
pretty busy.
Right.
Just obstructs your view even more.
And then I couldn't hear, but the smaller windows were just have 3.
3, yeah, and that was the intent, to
Okay.
just have the 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the little bit of time to chat.
Yeah.
I think what we would like to do is go ahead and table it for the moment and try to finalize the details of what we'd like to do and then bring that back and
Okay.
and try and get approval on that.
Right.
I don't know what that process looks like. Is that just sign up for the next ARB or? Okay,
Submit revised drawings and we'll get you on the next available agenda.
okay,
By middle of next week, you can make the next one.
yeah,
And
and,
that'll have to
Following.
okay, all right,
And there wasn't anything else?
No.
I think that's it,
Mhm.
yeah,
okay,
okay,
Perfect.
okay.
all right,
Just the window.
All right, we'll table this. Thank you. Have a good night.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Next, we have 1132 Pine Tree Lane porch.
Evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
And you are the
General contractor.
general contractor?
Okay.
All right, so we're reviewing the porch. Sorry. And I think there were some questions about the height. Was this the one with the?
Yeah.
Oh, so, what height is that porch off the grade? And I guess it was a question if there's gonna need to be any guardrail, by code, but also just considering adding a guardrail, just for the looks of it, the aesthetic as well.
Yeah, it is gonna need a guardrail. So that's a good point. I need to add that.
And you need to continue that down the steps too, so the steps have a railing. for
Okay.
code. That's,
We need to self-level the stairs because it's sunk.
Oh.
So we kind of have to play with it a little bit and get
Oh,
it to
okay.
code. Because of it's sunk a little bit, so the new one kind of has to come higher and we have to self-level that. And
okay,
then get everything, the stair treads to code and
Right.
everything, so.
okay. And then I think, the comment was that the columns kind of like to seem a little bigger. They seem a little out of scale with what's there.
The
It's
posts?
a 6x6 post, yeah, maybe go to an 8x8 with trim. I mean, keep the 6x6, but maybe add some trim to get a little thicker style
Well,
post.
another thing I realized I didn't add was I'm going to hardy wrap them.
Oh,
So-
okay. Okay, so you are gonna get thickness out of that.
Yeah, they are
Okay.
they're gonna be about 11 inches
Oh, okay.
tapered at the top,
All
the
right.
bottom with
Cool.
6-inch trim on the bottom. So I can add that to the
Yeah.
drawing as well.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
So, yeah, it sounds like that there'll need to be some revision there if you're going to have a taper, actual taper style that are substantially larger than what we're seeing here. So we would need to see that on the drawings, and then also on your rail, we would need to see like the materials and the style depiction shown on the drawings, so we can see what that looks like.
Okay.
And then also too, on the vertical face of your concrete foundation, what kind of finish are you planning to put on that vertical face?
We're gonna patch it and with hydraulic and sand it and then paint it.
Okay, it's going to be painted?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think, Chuck, did you have a question
Well,
about
we
the
had,
roof slope?
Tracy and I had
Yeah.
talked about the slope of the roof at the porch, and it's really flat right now.
12.2.
Yeah.
Isn't that the lowest you can go? Because
Yeah, pretty
The-
much. I mean, can you get a little more out of it? Maybe 3 and 12 or 3.5, 4. I mean, get a little more definition on how that looks from the front elevation.
okay, I don't
can
think
look at
that'll be
that.
a problem the way
Okay. Yeah.
the front
I
awning
think it'll help
is.
it out a lot, particularly if you do that in conjunction with the railings. I think it'll all just pull that all together, and I think it just really look nice.
Okay.
So, okay.
Right. Yeah, so if you can make those revisions, add the notes and then, submit it back, as Jim was saying, before Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have them to you tomorrow morning.
we could get it on the next list. We could table this, for this evening.
So we have to go to the next ARD. Okay,
Yeah, because we'll want to see it drawn accurately on the plans.
okay.
Yeah, any questions about that?
I don't think so. I think pretty clear cut.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I'll get those revisions to you as soon as possible.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that all you have for me?
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. No problem.
Evening.
Have a good night.
All right, Tracy is going to recuse herself. 515 Lake. Is that next? Yes.
Yes.
All right, now we have. Good evening.
Hello, this is Joe Fakewan, the homeowner.
Hey, Joe.
Welcome, Joe.
Did you?
Sorry, I'm virtual because we have a newborn baby here, so I apologize for any background noise. So I think what I heard from the initial conversation was two issues. So one was with the brackets. So I'm happy to start there. So all the homes on our street have the same roof line with very large eaves, and they all have brackets present. So the reason we're wanting to add those back in is we want to really tie in with the rest of the Joy built homes on the street. So we thought that'd be a great touch to kind of add that back into the neighborhood.
Okay, that's fine, because it really, to me, when I just think this is a really beautiful, cool house, and I congratulate you on finding those shingles underneath there. I think that's really cool. But knowing that in your neighborhood, the other Joy Builts have those brackets puts it in context for me. So, I think that, for me, that would be fine. I don't know if anybody else has any feelings about that.
No, I'm good with the
Okay.
brackets.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree. The shingles were an awesome find. We were super excited about that.
Yeah.
So onto the porch, or I guess the pergola. And just to give you some context there, we really wanted to add the porch to solve two main issues for us. So one, as you could probably see on the existing drawing, the existing stairs are pretty unsafe. They're very steep stairs. As I just mentioned, we have a newborn baby. We also have aging parents, and it's been a hazard kind of coming in and out of the house, with the door being, right at the top of the stairs, and again, just the steepness of the stairs. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to add the porch. The second is we wanted to have a more open entry to the neighborhood, and that seemed a little bit more inviting. So felt like, extending the porch out or extending the front of the house out all the way to the edge, and being able to kind of have the stairwell, coming straight up from the front, was going to solve that second issue for us. I think one of the members on the board mentioned that the house is south facing. However, there is really surprisingly little light that is coming into the house through those windows, specifically the ones on on the right hand side. So we have the covered porch on the left that doesn't get any sun through the side windows, but the two on the front really don't get a ton of light either. So we were walking around, the neighborhood, Webster Park and Old Orchard, and we noticed that several other kind of craftsman style homes had pergola covered front entries. And that really kind of what gave us the inspiration to use that for our house. We also researched online, different craftsman style entries, and we saw several on there that were kind of period specific and style specific that had pergolaed front porches. So we thought that'd be a really elegant way to kind of tie into the craftsman style architecture of the home, while also not restricting any of the additional light that we're trying to continue to bring into the house. And you'll notice that we're trying to honor that style through the existing, or the mimicking the existing tapered columns that we've brought out, to those three columns under the porch, as well as the craftsman style railings that we've chosen. So we feel like it's really going to tie the whole project together.
I agree that extending the porch is a great idea. I like the more gradual front-facing stair. I think it gives you a nice, stronger sense of entry than you had with that side stair. And I think the choice of the railings is lovely. I like the column style. I'm familiar with some of the pergola entries that are on some craftsman style house, but to me, this doesn't quite mimic that style that you mostly see out west with the big heavy pergola with the deep members. Yeah, as Chuck was saying, and I agree with this, the pergola to me for this house almost looks like it's something that would be more on the back of the house. Did you consider maybe doing something like, I'm sorry, did you say you were here for our work session or not? Did you hear what we
I
were
was here, yes.
Okay. You have that really nice projected bay that's on the side of the house with the shed roof. Did you consider maybe doing like a porch roof that was more in the shed configuration, and maybe just having a portion of the roof be open rafter style? As I think carrying around that slope, that shed, to me is more in keeping with the style of the house.
Yeah, I think that would probably be pretty cost prohibitive for us to bring that roof line all the way around. So we were trying to find a happy medium with, keeping with the style of the house, but also adding the porch. And then again, the concern with the light coming into the house. It is surprisingly a dark living room and den that you would expect for a south-facing house. So again, trying to alleviate that lighting issue as well.
You probably have big trees, right?
Mhm.
I was going
We
to say,
do, yes.
yeah, big trees
Yep.
in the front of the house, that will take care of your south side light really fast. Yeah. I can't say that I'm 100% sold. I mean, there's so many things I like about the project, but yeah, that flat pergola roof just, yeah. So would you consider doing a portion of the roof, like in that shed slope, or just, is that something, I'm not saying that you should wrap it around and tie the two together or anything. I'm just thinking that maybe a slope would be more in keeping with the rest of the house.
Which part are you thinking about using that style?
Maybe if you were to have the openness in the center there, I haven't like drawn it out or anything. It just, when I looked at this, I thought, wow, it just really struck me that it looked like an element that would be on the rear of the house. That's, yeah.
Well, is there anything that you think would, if we were looking to keep this pergola style that would make it feel more like on the front of the house or something that would make it more substantial feeling?
Yeah, I'm looking at it and just kind of mentally sketching here. Maybe if there was, I don't know, I'll ask other board members for input here. Maybe if the members were a little deeper, or maybe if they had some sort of interesting end cut or something, because you've got such nice style on the front of the house. It just, the pergola looks a little plain for me. I guess maybe that's part of it. I don't know if the other board members have comments on that.
Well, I mean, Carol, would you, for instance, increase the 8-inch beam to maybe a 10 or something like that? That wouldn't be too far out of line with what's there as far as fascias, and then increase the size of the joist maybe, but also too, instead of if you've got, the joist coming out away from the house, then maybe parallel to the house, you add another layer of another element like 2x2s or something like that to give some more depth and thickness to that elevation.
Yeah, I like the idea, for me personally, of maybe beefing up that beam a little bit and maybe making the rafters deeper. I guess maybe it would have more of a substantial, more purposeful feel.
Right.
And maybe having some sort of, interesting, not elaborate, but interesting end cut. So it would have some more substance and a little more style to it that would kind of match the
house.
the elevation of the style of the rest of the house, because it really does have a lot of style, and having something that's like really plain and a little bit thin looking.
Well, if you could mimic maybe what the brackets are with the ends.
Yeah, that's
That beam, I think.
that's exactly what we were thinking. So we were going to try to tie in the style of the brackets to the kind of the end cuts on the pergola. I agree. I think that's probably where it's not coming through in the drawing, but we were hoping to have it be a little bit more of a stylized rafter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What bothered me when I first looked at it, I saw the 8-inch beam and I thought, well, that doesn't seem big enough to me. I mean, from an architectural standpoint, in terms of what the rest of the house looks like. So do that. And I think, do something with the ends, like Carol's saying, match the brackets. I think
And
something.
the deeper rafter will also give you better shading from east to west.
Absolutely.
So you would have, when the sun is high and you want to have a little bit of shade on your porch, like maybe if you're sitting out there or something, that would give you a better function from your pergola, but you would still get plenty of light through there. And I really thank you for talking through this with us, because for me, I think if we went to the little deeper beam, like Chuck was suggesting, and maybe a little bit deeper rafter with some sort of interesting end cut, and I think your idea of tying the end cut shape into your bracket design, I think that's great. Yeah, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, those elements would solve it.
Right.
Chuck, are you okay with that?
Absolutely. Yes.
I would say the suggestion to change the 8-inch beam to a 10 or so, more in scale with the brackets themselves, for the top piece of the pergola where the 2x10s are shown. So if those are 4x, it looks like the brackets are 4x.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you wouldn't have as many but they would be more substantial. I think that would be a enhancement to tie it in, to make it look like it's part of the front of the house. I'm just adding my comment to what was said. Just a little more substantial. I would agree with that.
Okay, so you're saying about the 2x10 joists, you would recommend those being a 4x?
Yeah, I guess when I was just looking at it visually, I was wondering if they're the same scale as the bracket themselves. That would tie them together.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree. I think that would definitely give it more substance. As it's drawn, it's a 2x10, but I guess if we could make those 4xs, and then also extending those joists out, would you say to match the depth from the existing porch, and kind of have those come out to the existing depth? Would that be kind of solving that problem? And then again, adding that instead of the 8-inch beam, having that be that 10-inch beam? Those
The
kind
10
of three key issues.
Right, the 10-inch main beam is what you're saying, and then the 4x, I don't know if they're 4x10s or 4x8s that are along the top. To me, the brackets look like 4x 4-ish.
Yeah,
So
they are.
that-
Those would be 4-inch brackets.
Yeah, I mean, it's potential to me. I'm not quite sure without drawing it and just sketching it. I don't know that they'd have to be 4x10s. They might be 4x8s.
Yeah, and then also too, I think, I don't remember who made the suggestion that maybe the front of the rafters on the pergola extend to match the overhang on the existing front porch. Did I hear that comment? Am I understanding that correctly? Was that?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think that's what was mentioned.
Let me just put this out there to see how people feel about this. If, if y'all would like to kind of take a little bit closer look at this and decide exactly on your proportions and what your brackets look like and how you would like to tie in the end cut and just kind of refine those things. And then resubmit so we can, make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I would think so. Joe, I think if that makes sense to you, I'm not sure if you're open to those changes. But if you are, to just make the revisions and have it resubmitted, just so we can see it.
Yeah, I'm happy to make those changes. I guess I was going to ask if we commit to making those changes, if we can get it approved tonight.
Bob.
Yeah, I personally, I mean, I've sketched it out. I feel like it's an improvement. I don't know how much everyone else feels, but
Yeah, I'm incorporating the suggestions that we've discussed, and thank you, Joe, very much for talking through this with us. The changes we've discussed makes me a lot more comfortable with the pergola on the front of the house.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you're okay with the changes, when we could vote tonight with those revisions and just make the changes when the drawings are submitted.
Yeah, so that would be moving the cross beam from an 8-inch to a 10-inch, having the joist be pulled out to match the existing porch depth from the house, and then having the, I guess, width of those joists match the 4-inch width of the brackets. Those three things.
And the detail of the bracket end would match the tails of the pergola.
Yeah.
Joist.
Yeah, I agree. I think all those are really great suggestions. And we can commit to those for sure.
And you can adjust the spacing of the purlins too, so that they don't, because you're making them thicker, they don't want to crowd together.
Right. I think it's to, right, to,
Yeah. Joe, what do you got them at? 12 inches on center right now?
Yeah.
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
I believe they are.
Okay.
So maybe 16.
Yeah, 16.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. We would want to space those out a little bit more.
And I'm not sure if they're 4x8 or 4x6. That's something that I think I'm kind of, maybe 4x6 looks okay. I don't know.
Yeah, your architect could.
Right. I think that's 4 by somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Personally, is what I think.
About, yeah, change them to approximately 4x6 at 16 inches on center.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe it's,
And the ends will be, and the ends will be detailed like the brackets.
brackets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can do that then. All right. Thanks, Joe. With
Thank
that,
you all. I appreciate it.
Thank
bet.
you.
A motion, Carol?
Sure.
I'm, and
And here we go. And everybody check the checklist to make sure I've got everything. Okay.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve 515 Lake as submitted with the following revisions. The beam at the front pergola shall be increased to a 10-inch depth. The width of the joist shall be 4x6, spaced at approximately 16 inches on center. The end cuts of the joists should match the detail on the brackets, and the joist shall extend to be the same depth as the existing porch.
Do we want the end of the beam to also have the bracket detail?
Option to have the end of the beam have the bracket detail, so that client and his architect can decide.
yes.
Is that
Mhm.
reasonable,
Right.
since we didn't discuss that with them?
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, Joe, you're approved as noted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
All right, and with that, the meeting is adjourned.
No, we used to have Dobbin.
Oh, sorry. We do.
We do.
I
We
thought,
do.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I got sidetracked. 337, we need to have Tracy come back in first. 337 Dobbin Road. I got sidetracked because we were talking about it being not the right set of drawings.
Yeah, it's, I've got
Okay.
elements
It's
here.
been a long day for me. Okay, sorry. All right. Next is 337 Dobbin Road. Someone online to join us.
The wrong address. Patrick, could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, good evening, folks.
Okay, can you hear us? Okay.
I can, yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Sorry, I did not hear the first part of the meeting. I'm with 1132 Pine Tree Lane in the front porch.
Oh, you're back to Pine. Okay. Yeah, we were on Dobbin. Did you want to come back to Pine Tree? Did we need to come back for that for any reason?
Well,
We've already,
talked with this contractor who's
Yeah.
gonna,
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We already postponed that project with the comments on the porch.
Yeah, your contractor was here in person,
Okay.
and your contractor should have those comments. You might want to discuss that with him.
Oh, yeah, yes. So I just a quick question. I spoke with him and wanted to just call in briefly. Now, what I was curious about is right now I have the the concrete company is ready to pour the floor of the addition we're building at the back and wants to pour the slab for the front porch at the same time. If we agree to make the revisions that were discussed, and I'm sure that we will, could we possibly have it to where we can have the front porch slab poured at least while the concrete truck is still out here? So we don't have to have another concrete truck come by later down the line. It's just easier for them to do it all at the same time.
I don't think any of our comments were relative to the
No,
port, the floor or the
Yeah.
pad.
comments were more architectural in terms of how this all tied into the existing house. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't want to run afoul of code or anything like that by pouring something that wasn't approved, but also the company, the foundation company is just, wanting to get this rolling and wanting to save a truck roll if they can.
I don't think we can comment on that.
Right, this is, we just,
And, yeah,
Right.
means and methods.
I was gonna say, so the board did make comments relationship to adding the guardrails, the correct post detailing and the handrails.
Okay.
That was the only comments that the board made. So,
Okay, so if just to be clear, if I tell them that they can pour the porch, we're all good with that. We just need to make the other
No, I-
changes that were recommended.
I think
guess-
us as a review board
right,
have
we,
the ability to tell
right,
you to move
Okay.
forward like that.
You're going to have to coordinate that with your contractor because we're not responsible for the sequencing of your project. That's something y'all are going to have to decide.
Okay, thank you very much
All
for your
right.
help. I appreciate it.
sure.
Thanks.
All right, is there anyone online for 337 Dobbin Road?
Anybody?
All right. We're gonna, see no one, table that, and with that, I will officially adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
you.